From the KATC Weatherland, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, a cloudy one across the area today, holding our temperatures down. Tomorrow, about 10 degrees cooler because we're going to have some precipitation in the air. Not a whole lot of it. It's also going to be breezy as well. Let's take a look, though, at our drone shot today. We got lots of clouds across the area. But if you say go to the Weather Channel or look at the weather app, it says clear. Why is that? Well, these clouds are up at 15 to 20,000 feet. And basically, all the automated observing stations that are located at airports and different parts of the state will only measure cloud deck if it's below 10,000 feet. But we've had an overcast sky, some high cirrostratus and stratiform type clouds out there. And that's what we've had throughout the day. And that makes for some interesting skies. And some of these clouds are actually precipitating. There's some moisture coming out of it, but it is evaporating before it reaches the ground. But that'll change as we head into tomorrow because we have moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. The remnants of tropical depression, tropical storm Max have moved into the Gulf. And then we have another hurricane out here that's making landfall tonight, major hurricane making landfall in Mexico, and that's going to shoot into the Gulf. But all of this moisture channel, the main conduit of the moisture, is going to be heading more toward Florida than anywhere else. Now, we do see some showers in the area. Here's our area of low pressure down here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. And as we examine regional Doppler radars, it looks like there's a fair bit of rain around. But again, a lot of this, the Doppler radars are hitting the rain up high, and a lot of it is evaporating before it reaches the ground. And as we pull in Power Doppler 3, you notice it looks like less. These are raindrops, though, reaching the ground, especially where we're getting some yellow and orange. But elsewhere, just maybe a little sprinkle that you might see on your windshield. That's going to be the story for most of this evening. But by daybreak tomorrow, rain chances and rain that will be hitting the ground and wetting the ground should ramp up to about 50 to maybe up to about 70%. So let's take a look at the big picture. First off, in the tropics, no major changes. We've got a system out here in the eastern Atlantic that's going to develop, but stay out in the eastern Atlantic. Meanwhile, we're watching a little bit of a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico. National Hurricane Center came in with actually a special report lowering the odds of development from 30%, which was earlier today, down to about 10%. And then we have a major Hurricane Lydia here, 115 mile per hour winds making landfall in Mexico tonight. And some of that moisture is going to get strewn across the area. So if anything, we might underestimate the rain based on the models. Very difficult to tell, but the main lift and the main impetus with our area of low pressure that's going to be developing out in the Gulf will stay out in the Gulf and mainly head toward the eastern Florida peninsula, eastern Florida panhandle and the northern Florida peninsula. But tomorrow we'll see that low developing, and you can see the convection offshore. It's going to be rough out here. Pressure gradient. We'll talk about the winds. Mostly light rain across the area and just a breezy day. Temperatures hold in the 60s for Acadiana. Don't expect a whole lot of rain, so it's not going to be a washout type of day. And then by Thursday, we cool off in the morning, but warm back into the 80s for the afternoon hours. And then our attention will focus on this front and some moisture out ahead of it. We could see scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. We're going rain chance at about 40% Friday afternoon. And then this front gets here by Friday night, setting up a gorgeous weekend. As for rainfall, yeah, don't get too excited here. Quarter inch or less based on the model data for most of us. Lesser amounts or maybe no rain as you get up toward Alexandria, slightly higher amounts down along the coast. And as we take a look at the Weather Prediction Center forecast, they're more aggressive on the rainfall, given that we have the tropical nature, maybe a half inch or less, I-10 quarter on northward for sure, maybe 1 to 2 down towards St. Mary Parish, and much higher amounts out into the Gulf of Mexico. And speaking of the Gulf, gale warnings have been hoisted. There's going to be elevated tides with an easterly wind, so tides going above normal. And look at some of these are wind gusts in the 30-40 mile per hour range. That's 20 to 30 knots with a few gusts to 40. And there's a couple of 50s showing up southeastern Louisiana waters over toward the Florida panhandle. So a breezy day ahead for sure, and then things will quiet down. Inland, our winds not doing a whole lot, but they're going to be gusting in the 20 to 25 mile per hour range beginning right around noon tomorrow. There'll be a few gusts to 30. Notice over toward eastern Louisiana, slightly higher wind gusts over here, upper 30s, maybe a few 40s showing up over there, and then things will quiet down. So a blustery, breezy day because temperatures tonight drop down into the 60s, and they don't get out of the 60s for tomorrow afternoon. So overnight tonight we'll go 65 the low with showers developing later on tonight. 40% on your rain chances with mostly an easterly breeze out there. That wind gets breezier during the day tomorrow, maybe a few gusts up to about 30 with cloudy skies and periods of light rain mostly. Don't expect a whole lot of rain out there. As we move into Thursday, looking good. Friday, that rain chance once again, a shower or thunderstorm, upper 80s to near 90. And then we got a good looking weekend with that solar eclipse midday Saturday and beautiful fall weather to follow into next week. Jasmine.